Alright football fans, the longest, most talked about storyline of the 2025 NFL Draft weekend has finally reached its conclusion. After an unprecedented fall that saw him go unselected through all of Thursday night's first round and all of Friday night's second and third rounds, quarterback Shedeur Sanders from Colorado finally found his NFL home on Saturday. Day 3 of the draft. The Cleveland Browns have selected Shedeur Sanders, and the mystery of his destination is officially over. Shedeur was taken with the 144th overall pick, deep in the 5th round, putting an end to a draft slide that genuinely surprised many across the league, including some who had been critical of him during the pre-draft process. It was an outcome that few had predicted just weeks or even days before the draft began, when he was widely seen as a first-round talent, maybe even a top half pick. Interestingly, the Browns didn't just wait for him to fall to their pick at 166 in the 5th round. They actually made a small trade-up with the Seattle Seahawks to secure him at number 144, giving up their 166th and 192nd picks. It wasn't a massive trade package like we saw in the early rounds, but it shows the Browns had a specific target in mind on day 3 and weren't willing to risk losing him even then. The moment his name was called brought an eruption of excitement and relief from Shedeur and those at his draft watch site in Texas. Video captured the pure joy, including him famously jumping into a pool, fully clothed with his socks still on. It was the culmination of a long, stressful wait. Speaking to reporters after being drafted, Sanders was understandably emotional but focused on the positive. He posted, "Thank you God," on X immediately after the pick and later said during the conference call, "I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity throughout everything." He emphasized that he doesn't dwell on the negative, because the positive happened so fast and it's a change of emotions. He sees the fall as part of the process, like a quarterback shrugging off a bad play. "For me, it was just playing quarterback. That's what it's about. You can't be up too low or anything. You got to be able to celebrate. And when we score a touchdown, we celebrate for a little bit. Now, it's back to time to work. It's time to go." This willingness to move past the disappointment and immediately focus on work is a message he seems intent on sending. He addressed how he'll approach joining the Browns, particularly in the context of the pre-draft questions about his attitude and celebrity upbringing. "I feel like first thing getting in is showing respect to the vets," he said, signaling his intent to earn respect. He added, "I'm getting ready to work and show the coaches. Have them understand I'm ready to work. Actually understand the real me. This is a direct plea to be seen for who he is now, not the narratives that swirled around him. I'm truly thankful for the opportunity for people to actually see the real me and not be able to see stuff that could be true or not." That last line directly addresses the anonymous criticisms and speculation that likely contributed to his slide, suggesting some of it might not have been accurate and he's ready to prove himself on his own terms. From the Cleveland Browns' perspective, picking Shedeur Sanders at number 144 was a value-driven decision based on their evaluation board. General Manager Andrew Berry explained that as they entered Day 3, there were discussions about targeting Sanders if he continued to fall, and the decision to trade up came together quickly when he was still available. Berry stated, "We live by our board, and saw Sanders as a good, solid prospect. The core of their rationale at pick 144 is clear: value." Berry said they spent a lot of time with Shedeur throughout the process and were impressed, calling him highly accurate, able to play well from the pocket, and having a very productive college career. But the key was where he was available. Berry felt that at pick 144, Shedeur was at a pretty steep discount. He added, "Once it got to a point where it felt like it was a pretty steep discount, we just felt like, especially relative to the alternative ways that we could use this selection, this made the most sense." Berry believes Sanders can outproduce his draft stock significantly from this spot, calling the acquisition cost pretty light. Berry also clarified the expectations in Cleveland. "We obviously spent a lot of time with Shedeur throughout the process, but our expectation is for him to come in here and work and compete. Nothing's been promised. Nothing will be given. This is a clear message that despite his name and college accolades, he will have to earn everything in the NFL." When asked about the concerns related to his personality and celebrity background, Berry pushed back, stating, "We felt good with him as a person. He works hard. He's a really good kid. He wants to be great. His teammates loved him at Colorado." This personal evaluation suggests the Browns were comfortable with the person. Despite the public drama, the context of his slide included those anonymous reports questioning his attitude and play, which, while perhaps not changing teams' fundamental evaluations, certainly highlighted concerns and added to the pre-draft drama that made him such a mystery. One former GM even felt his fall felt personal. He was the sixth quarterback taken in the draft, after Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shaw, Jalen Milroe, and Dillon Gabriel. And here is perhaps the most fascinating dynamic of his landing spot. The Cleveland Browns also drafted quarterback Dillon Gabriel earlier on Saturday. At pick number 131, just 13 picks before they took Shedeur. This means Shedeur is not just joining a veteran quarterback room that includes Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, alongside an injured Deshaun Watson, expected to miss a significant portion of 2025. But he's immediately competing with another rookie quarterback that the same team drafted just moments before him. This situation highlights the Browns' long-documented history of quarterback instability since returning to Cleveland in 1999. Having started 40 different QBs, this reshaped room, while crowded, offers Shedeur an opportunity to compete early for playing time. Given the uncertainty surrounding the position in Cleveland, Shedeur's college achievements are impressive, underscoring the talent the Browns are getting at a discount. A 4-year starter, 2 at FCS Jackson State under his father, 2 at Colorado. He led the FBS in completion percentage, 74%, and was second in passing touchdowns, 37, in 2024. He won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, was a second-team All-American, and Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. He also had a positive pre-draft visit with the Browns, finding the people genuine and feeling comfortable with the organization. The mystery is solved. The historic fall is over. Shedeur Sanders is heading to the Cleveland Browns, a team that sees value in him at pick 144 despite passing on him multiple times and drafting another quarterback just before him. His journey to prove everyone wrong, to show his true self and outproduce his draft stock, now begins in Cleveland's competitive quarterback room. Alright, the biggest, most talked about storyline of the NFL draft weekend reached its conclusion on Saturday. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders, after a surprising and significant fall through the first 3 rounds, has finally been drafted. He was selected by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round, at pick number 144 overall. And interestingly, the Browns actually traded up with the Seattle Seahawks, giving up 2 later picks, to make sure they got him at that spot. After the long and unexpected wait, Sanders expressed relief and gratitude. He told reporters he was extremely grateful for the opportunity throughout everything, and that he doesn't focus on the negative because the positive, getting drafted, happened so fast. He acknowledged it was a change of emotions, but now it's time to work. He talked about wanting to show respect to the vets in the Browns locker room and letting the coaches and everyone actually see the real me, and not, quote, stuff that could be true or not, seemingly referencing those pre-draft anonymous criticisms that had surfaced. He even celebrated by jumping into a pool at his watch site when his name was called. From the Cleveland Browns' perspective, General Manager Andrew Berry explained their decision to draft him where they did. Berry said they stick to their draft board and felt that at pick 144, Sanders was a good, solid prospect, who was available at a steep discount, or was mispriced relative to the draft at that point. He felt that acquisition cost was pretty light by trading up just a bit, and that Sanders is a player they believe can outproduce his draft stock. Berry directly addressed concerns about Sanders as a person and his celebrity background, saying the team felt good with him as a person after their extensive pre-draft process, including visits and dinner. Berry called him a good kid who works hard and wants to be great, adding that his teammates at Colorado loved him. Berry complimented his accuracy and ability to play from the pocket, and emphasized that Shedeur is coming into a situation where nothing is promised, and he'll have to work and compete in the Browns' quarterback room. That room is a bit crowded now. Sanders joins Dillon Gabriel, who the Browns drafted in the 3rd round, plus Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. With Deshaun Watson injured, the Browns had passed on Sanders multiple times earlier in the draft but kept him on their board and pulled the trigger when they felt the value was too good to pass up. So, after a dramatic and surprising draft slide that captivated the football world, Shedeur Sanders has found his NFL team with the Cleveland Browns. The saga of his draft position is over. And now the focus shifts to whether he can prove the teams that passed on him wrong and show the Browns they got a steal in the 5th round.